In this new series, you get to hear stories from artists, content creators, and pick their brains on all things digital. So tune in for some fun, fresh perspectives from the online world on how to Ekla Solo Ray. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ekla Solo Ray. Today's guest is a bona fide rock star, someone who has dabbled in various forms of music, and he has a host of interesting side projects that he's working on. So, a real true hustler. And I'm very happy to have him on board today for him to come and share his stories with us. Please welcome Ambar on the show today.
Hey,
Hello.
hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing really good. It's a
Good.
beautiful Sunday, and yeah, it's really a day for music. Only thing is, we have
Yeah.
regrouped ourselves to go out and play together. So
Yeah.
it's a slow start, but it's a slow and steady start.
Yeah, it was good. I think you were one of the first few people I met after the lockdown ended. So that was a good start. I think that was in like was that what that was 2 days back? Huh. That was
Two
fun.
days back, I mean, I think it was the day after the lockdown was
The
announced
day
to
started.
be closed, and yeah,
Huh. Yeah, yeah.
it was
So
amazing.
basically, the idea is to actually have online content creators, people who are dabbling with various forms of arts, music, movies, YouTubers, to come and share their perspective on what how they go about doing these things. And yeah, just to create sort of a collaborative culture where people can pick your brains off some things, and then take something away and use that in their own lives in a way. So I
That's
know,
wonderful.
yeah. So I know you're doing a lot of things around music, and you have a host of different music projects that you're working on. So would like to hear your take on that. Like we can talk about artist to artist. We can also talk about the things that you're doing online. Having online events, and also the whole you can say the world of event management, and having musicians around the world coming together and collaborating. So before we
Yeah.
get to that, you want to give us a quick rundown on what exactly is artist to artist and the other sort of projects that you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So just let's take a step back. Let's go back all the way to 2003 when I came to Singapore.
Okay.
And then I was working like any other jaunty, and I was really working overtime and stuff.
Okay.
And there was no music happening in my life, and it
Mm.
was only until it was only when I read about an organization called Thompson's Jazz Band, Thompson's Big Band, in
Okay.
the year 2005, that I wanted to go there and check out what's happening.
Okay.
So for 2 good years, I didn't do any music in Singapore. So I got introduced to the jazz community over here, which is a lot of Angmos and locals.
Okay.
From there, my music took off, and then I formed my first expat rock band. I mean, Singapore's
Okay.
first expat rock band called Crossroad Traffic, and it was well
Crossword traffic.
recognized by Crossroad Traffic. If you search Crossroad Traffic, you'll get the band page in Facebook.
Do you have a channel on YouTube? Maybe I could link it up
Yeah.
eventually. Yeah.
So actually, the YouTube channel is on my name, but there's a Facebook page, and it's called Crossroad Traffic. That has a
Okay.
link. You can share
Okay.
that link.
Yeah, I'll
And
definitely do that.
yeah, so that's the first Indian expat rock band of Singapore, by the way, formed in the year 2008.
2008.
And we were recognized by Esplanade, and we did a couple of shows there.
Yeah.
That's how the whole expat music started. Actually, it was
So
very
what
rare
kind
to
of
have an expat.
music did you create your own music, or was it focused on like recreating Bollywood music, or what
So
sort
we
of
had a
things are you
mix
working
of
on?
original songs.
Yeah.
In fact, for our Esplanade project, we sang quite a number of them actually.
Okay.
So we also did covers, because covers would get the crowd going, and
Yeah.
we did a lot of folk. We
Okay.
had not only songs from languages of India, we also had some English songs as well.
Okay.
So that's how it all started. And then in the year 2015, I formed this group. It's not a band, it's a group called Artist to Artist, because when I was like struggling to make Indian music happen, like in the expat scene with the expats,
Yeah.
I faced a lot of hurdles, and it taught me a lot of things along the way. And I wanted to use those lessons learned to make it easy for talented musicians to come on board.
Okay.
So that was the whole objective of Artist to Artist. And we started our first we did our first gig on 2015 August.
Okay.
And then we have done many other open mics after that.
Okay.
It's not open mics for casual singers.
Yeah.
It's basically for singers and musicians who are enthusiasts and have some knowledge of music, at least
Yeah.
with respect to Sur and Tal. And
Okay.
yeah, and then
Disclaimer.
yeah. Basically, I have seen open mics where people get drunk and get up on stage and do
Yeah,
obnoxious
definitely.
things.
Okay.
So this is not about that.
Yeah.
So because open mic, the word has been abused thoroughly,
Yeah.
especially in our community.
Yeah.
Open mic doesn't mean you can do anything on stage.
Okay. Okay.
So this was meant for people who are serious about music. They have a passion for it, and
Yeah.
they are at least in Sur and Tal.
Okay.
Then that's that, and then we
Yeah.
organized a lot of gigs and all that. We did a lot of things.
Yeah.
It was until and we were fully like in person with audience in a very lively environment until
Okay.
this unfortunate thing called COVID-19 strike.
Okay.
And this actually triggered some other kind of measures that could help us continue the journey
Yeah.
of doing music together, and that was basically online. And
Yeah.
it was made possible through beautiful platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Zoom,
Exactly. Yeah.
all these kind of things.
So you
So
kind of
that's how it
answered
started.
a lot of things that I actually wanted to address initially. Like, how did you think of this idea, and why did you come
Yeah.
up
So
start?
let me answer
This?
them all because I just touched the tip. So
Okay.
if you let's
Yeah.
go
Go ahead.
with
Go
the
ahead.
first question. So
Yeah.
how
Go
did I
ahead.
came with the idea? Okay, so let me just go to the point 1.1 details of matters. So as I said, I have struggled to get Indian music on stage in Singapore because at that time we were only few people who were into
Yeah.
this. Although there were like a lot of talents
There
who
are a
were
lot of
working.
groups, though, right? There are
Yeah, in
groups
2000,
like.
I'm talking about 2005, 2007, during
Okay.
that stage. I mean, I'm
See,
sure there were a lot of
I've been in
talents there.
Singapore since 2006, 7. I mean, I know of a lot of these. I mean, they're probably more around classical music, classical Hindustani music, and Carnatic music. Yeah, but those groups are maybe more on teaching the actual skill, music skills. So yeah, may
Yeah,
not
you're
really.
absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah,
But then my whole objective was to bring these groups as organized bands on stage. So
okay.
that is where I focused.
Mm.
So I knew that there are a lot of people in the community who are really
Yeah.
well focused. But the thing is, having the knowledge of music and teaching and then performing are different kind of psyches or different kind of
Yeah.
acts. On stage, you're all alone and you have to deal with a lot of things. For
Yeah.
example, you have to be stage smart to actually communicate with the audience.
Yeah.
You have to know your mic, how to
Yeah. Yeah.
use the mic.
Mhm.
Then you have to know how the band is playing.
Yeah.
You're not alone anymore. But
Yeah.
teaching is more like a personal endeavor.
True.
With
True.
due respect to teachers, because I am one of them.
Yeah.
So that was the whole initiative to bring music to people and by people for people. That's how
Mhm.
it started. So Artist to Artist in its first edition in August 2015 had 12 participants. 12.
12. Okay.
And in the second edition, it was, I think, in January, it had 153 participants.
Wow.
So
But
yeah,
all in Singapore.
all in Singapore. And
Okay.
there were 33 on stage,
Yeah.
and the other people were audience, kind of singing from there. But there were 33
Nice.
chosen people, yeah. And
Yeah.
for everyone, I had done an audition that
So
whoever,
where did
I
you
mean, you
do
can
this?
come over.
Mm.
I did this. I actually created an artist to artist page, and
Yeah.
people were inquiring about what is this new buzzword around on Facebook. That's how
Yeah.
it started. And because by then I had performed at Esplanade
Yeah.
with an audience size of 1,000, which you will see on my cover photo of Crossroad Traffic, the first band. So
Okay.
people kind of knew about me. So they wanted to kind of check out that what's going on. How come I have this great thing happening when they
Yeah.
don't see any light of
Yeah.
live performances, to
Yeah.
organize live performances for themselves. So that's
Yeah.
how I got connected to many people actually, and
That's
then I
great.
started promoting the Artist to Artist Act. So
Hmm.
as the seasons went on, we had more and more people as in the audience, and we chose 30 people who are good for stage, and it was completely live. There's an Artist to Artist page on YouTube. If you search Artist to Artist, you'll get it, or I'll
Okay.
forward you the link as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's that, yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll see wonderful performances. That's that.
Yeah. I've seen some of
So
them. I think you also invited me to those the ones which were hosted online because of COVID.
yeah,
But yeah, it's fantastic because you actually
oh
see
yeah,
a variety of
that's
people on there.
the
Yeah.
COVID online initiative
The
where
version.
there were three things that was done. I think three. First one was 45 artists
Yeah.
coming together all over the world. Actually, they belong from all
Yeah.
corners of the
Exactly.
world.
You didn't only. It was
And
just not Singapore, right? You also had.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
So it was like, so we called it Digital Festival of Arts because it not only had singing, it has instrumental, it had poetry, it had dance, fusion dance. So
Yeah.
it's a compilation of different art forms.
Yeah.
And then we did something uh, really, really interesting. We did Soul Jam. Soul Jam is about soul, R&B, blues, and it had people from 9 countries, and all of
Yeah.
them are professionals. So that
Okay.
was number two, and then we did a tribute to R.D. Burman, and that went bonkers. That had
Okay.
very high views. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we did that with local Singapore, local Indian
Yeah.
artists. And
Yeah. I saw
now
that.
today,
Yeah.
as we speak, I'm getting ready for the evening. We
Uh,
have Japan Hour. Japan Hour, my professional friends from Japan performing instruments and singing as well. It's going to happen today at
Japanese music or what is it?
Japanese influenced Western music.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but all
Very
by
cool.
the countrymen. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
from Japan. Yeah,
Okay.
that's that. And then next week we will have a tribute to the great Amit Trivedi, also mostly from the Singapore artists, except one who has performed in Singapore and lived in Singapore for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Abhishek, he's an award winner. He used to
Yeah.
sing in Bollywood La. Not endorsing anybody, just facts. And then he's going to be online next week
What's the
for
name
the
again?
Amit
Abhishek.
Trivedi.
Abhishek.
Abhishek, I call him Abhishek. I'm not sure about the full name, but his stage
Okay.
name is Abhishek.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that. So that's next week, and the week after, I think on 11th of July, we will have Soul Jam version 2 with new set of artists. And
Okay.
our plan is to actually go country by country. So today we have Japan hour
Japan.
happening in the evening. We'll do a French hour or France hour.
Yeah.
These kind of things. We are going to go country
Okay.
by
Okay.
country.
That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can always have people from various parts of the world with their own little music, right? So that's great. I mean, coming back a step back, like you did this over a period of time. It took you, I mean, close to 10 years to set up Artist to Artist. Also, you had this band. Is it still together? Like, are you
Yeah,
guys?
the band is there.
Hmm.
We are practicing. In fact, in on my YouTube channel, you'll see Crossroad Traffic practicing, and they do altered covers. They do very jazzy stuff with Indian classical and stuff.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but I mean, also, since it would be good for someone who's maybe just starting out to understand, like, how do you actually juggle between like having a proper corporate job and this, because it also takes a lot of your time, you know, a lot of investment to uh, do these kind of things. And I know it's already at a very high scale that you're doing these kind of things, but someone who's starting out, like, how do you actually manage this? Like, how do you take the time out? And yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great question, actually. Yeah. These days, I see a lot of things happening, which is
Yeah.
really good because the infrastructure, the facilities, and the spirit of the people are
Mm.
aligned to make things happen. In my
Yeah.
time, we didn't get such things, which is in 2005, 2006.
It is
I
your
mean, we
time
had
right now.
talents. Yeah, it's fortunately time is good actually for me.
Yeah.
So when I started, so we didn't get the facilitation like it's there right now.
Yeah.
It's there. Like we have acoustic sessions and live music happening everywhere now.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to ride the boat in that perspective.
Yeah.
But
I
again,
think in a way, the virus situation, obviously, it should not be around, and hopefully it goes away soon. But there are some positives which hopefully, if it still sticks around after the virus goes away, like having Zoom sessions and having online gigs, I think that there is a lot of scope in that, and that's one positive thing I think that came out of this.
yeah. I mean, you are a witness,
Yeah.
first-hand witness of what we did. When there
Yeah.
was no opportunity of going live, we decided
Yeah.
to go Zoom. At
Yeah.
least keep in touch. And our whole, I mean, I was emphasizing that let's choose songs which we are picking up to get stage ready. Not like songs we are comfortable and we are singing to friends. Let's do a little bit extra from what we generally do and
True.
learn
Yeah.
new things, new tricks of the trade. I
Yeah.
think that's a great, I mean, to me, knowledge is entertainment. Knowledge
Yeah.
is the entertainment factor. If I don't get to learn something,
Yeah.
that's not entertaining for me.
Okay. That's
So for
a very interesting thought.
going
Yeah.
back to your question, that what is a way to actually orchestrate these kind of initiatives?
Mm.
In as we speak today, people are. I mean, there are a lot of organizers, young organizers, and also the veteran ones. So my advice to them would be that firstly, Singapore is a small country. It's a great country, but um, over here, unlike in India, where you will get your followers for anything that you do due to the population uh, flow of people around.
In
Over
India,
here,
you mean?
people in India,
Yeah.
but in Singapore, I've seen a major difference over here.
Yeah.
People over here come here to work, get a good living, earn money,
Yeah.
settle their retirement and stuff. So their focus is more towards work. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm also one of them actually. So you don't get people or a large student community to actually
Devote your
get
full
engaged in
time.
music, sports. It's not large. It's small
Yeah.
among the Indian expats. I'm
It's
talking
hard to
about the
do. I
Indian
mean, the
expats.
economy. It's hard to survive in the economy without, consistent flow of income in a way. So
Yeah, it's one of the richest countries,
true.
or rather one of the most expensive countries.
Yeah.
So that's the difference right now.
Yeah.
So it's quite a struggle to actually monetize an organized show.
I was coming to
But
that, so I think it's good you
yeah,
brought it up early. Yeah,
yeah.
I wanted
But
to talk about
I will.
monetization.
Yeah, monetization I'll talk about later. But let me talk about something which is not monetized. So it's not that difficult to actually go for um, non-monetized, fun-filled, voluntary initiatives. That can be done. What you do is basically you build your audience on a Facebook page, and then you approach a venue. A venue could be a bar or a pub or a
Yeah.
government scheme or something like that.
Yeah.
And then make things happen. Somehow you have to make money. I mean, rather, pull in money for the logistics
You
in the
get
sense like sound
sponsorships.
boxes and all that. Very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Like I
And
said,
how do you? I
that's
mean,
a problem.
it's obviously maybe it's easier to keep yourself motivated, but suppose you have a bunch of people you have got like on a regular basis you're going and jamming and performing. Like, how do you keep them motivated? Because obviously at the end of the day most of them are also going back to their jobs, so it
Yeah.
may be a struggle to keep a proper group intact and keep doing things regularly.
So it has another side to that. Since people are working like overtimes at times, and most of the times during the weekdays,
Yeah.
when they see a jamming session happening and it has earned some name,
Yeah.
they make it a point to attend. So that's that. And again, when you like getting sponsorship for this shows, as in to facilitate the logistics such as sound boxes, infrastructure, and all that, it's tough. And I actually bought everything that is required to host a show, everything in my house. So I actually carry them to the venue. And I have another friend, Prashant, who is also in the same kind of, he's aligned with me. He also has got many great equipments with him. So it's basically a voluntary service that I'm doing and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So that's the rewarding part is people are happy and smiling, and
Okay.
that's really rewarding actually. So I go to the venue, I set up with my own equipment, and things get started. So it's like I've done it so many times, it's in my system now.
Yeah.
It sounds great, like sounds a huge initiative, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
Because I've done it so many times.
I think I think maybe the money side of things is maybe not the biggest concern, but then like still having people on board and having a long-term plan. It also with this whole virus situation, I think the whole live events thing might be a bit hard to have. Like, you might not have a lot of people coming for live events. So I've seen like people like I don't know if you follow Indian comics, Indian artists. They are also struggling right now because in Bombay, in Bangalore, they may be getting their primary source of income through doing gigs, but they can't do that anymore. So they're actually resorting to online paid events. So like hosting an event on Insider, and then getting people to actually pay tickets to watch them perform on Zoom. So those things, I think they might just catch up. You can actually explore those as well, where it's a way to monetize your platform, and I think.
So it's a bit more challenging than that. I'll tell you why. This is my when YouTube came into the scene, a lot of people went out of work, right? Because now things are available on YouTube.
Yeah.
But then the whole model is different. The whole model is basically based on views and advertisements, and YouTube pays you because YouTube in turn gets advertisements, right? So that's one model. But this CB thing, the circuit breaker or lockdown thing, is actually more challenging. That I'll tell you why. Because we all know the lockdown will not happen till eternity. It is a temporary measure, right? So the problem is people would rather wait for some time and again go back to the regular life than go online and pay for the artist to perform for him. Why? And again, there's another side. Hearing something live is basically experiencing that aura of the situation, which we will not get.
That's
so
true.
I think the huge art, like really the industry artists which are really doing well, like Lady Gaga and Metallica, they all went online and performed. They can survive with this model, but
if you need to have a high quality as well. But I mean, it depends. Like, you can actually how you scale it, how you probably brand it. You don't need to sell like huge tickets at a huge price, maybe. So I think there's still scope because people would still be looking for some sort of entertainment. But
then we are talking about monetizing it. I've seen a lot of free ones, but monetizing it, I didn't see much. And even, I mean, I was talking to some of the organizers who are actually monetizing it. According to them, it's like optional. You can pay, and then I heard people are not clicking going. They made it free. So again, it all goes down to branding, how big the artist is. Like if you collect 10 rupees or $10 from an event, or $100 even, you can't survive for more than 5 days. I mean, bare minimum, bare necessities I'm talking about. Tough, really tough for artists. So, there's an International Jazz Foundation. So all the big Grammy Award winning jazz artists, if you see on YouTube, they are actually performing for free to collect donations for the struggling musicians. So that's something that's going on right now. And I have done charity gigs. Raghu Dixit, I don't know whether you've heard. Raghu Dixit and some Grammy Award winning artists. If you see my cover photo, I did a gig with them, in the sense like we had our own time slots to raise funds. So I also did that last month.
I missed that probably. I didn't really catch that one, but I think that's great because there's still a lot of things to explore with social media, still online gigs. But I mean, where do you see this growing now? Like, would you want to scale this up? Would you also want to get dancers and other sort of artists on this?
Yeah, I mean, my advice to dancers and artists would be, singers would be to have a setup in their house. It's very, very important. It's essential.
Okay.
Dancers should have the right lighting and right audio. And in
Yeah.
fact, in the Soul Jam, we did a dance act over soul music. It's an
Mm.
amazing act by Archana, and
Mm.
she did the setup in her house, and
I
she did
think
it
I know
eloquently.
Archana, Aparna's sister,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know
Shout
whether
out
you
to
have caught
Aparna.
her performance. It was awesome.
I think I
That's
saw
that,
it.
and
Yeah. Yeah. I did.
it was amazing. And then all the artists who are singers, they should have set up in their house, because I think that's the way to go. Problem we will face right now is, even if the lockdown gets over,
Mm.
people are so used to receiving things digitally,
Yeah.
they may not come out and go to a venue so easily. It's like a mental block
Yeah.
that they are like systemized in a certain way.
Yeah.
So getting audience will still be a problem. I heard Kala Utsavam, the Kala Utsavam that
Yes.
happens,
Yes.
there's a 40-60 chance, like
Mm.
40% chance that it will happen this year. So
Okay.
that's that. Digital is the way to go now. I mean, make
Digital is the
most
way.
out of digital tools and all that.
Yeah.
That's the way
Definitely.
to go now.
So I also that's the sort of the idea behind this series that I'm doing, where of course it's not just focusing on musicians, but any sort of artists, content creators. You need to find ways to actually make your work available on the digital platform. And of course, anyone who's starting out, it'll be probably good to hear from people like you on how they can go about doing this. So you also have some sort of word of advice, like any sort of pro tips that you can share, like how to actually scale up for someone who has, say, just a basic skill of a art, knows how to do that. How can they express
Uh,
themselves, and how can they actually scale? So maybe that's
that's a great question, I think.
it's also a
So
very big
my
question.
no,
Yeah.
but it's really very vital. It's a vital question. So artists who have got talents, how to sell their art through digital medium, right?
Yeah.
That's basically
I think
the gist of the question.
selling would still be secondary, maybe, to some people. Just how to express and then get some sort of an audience. That is essentially key, because you want people to actually hear or listen to what you have to say, or sing, or those kind of things. And then of course monetizing it is something that we would look at a later stage, right?
Yeah. So I think one, a budding artist who
Yeah.
doesn't have much exposure of stage performance and all that should look out for somebody, a mentor kind of a figure who's
Yeah.
organizing open mics and all that. I mean, if you know your friends who can perform, you can connect them to me. So
Yeah.
I do open mics so they can come up, come and perform their art there.
Yeah.
People who are kind of amateur to professional level,
Yeah.
there will be platforms for them.
Okay.
I think it's very important to use the social media's mapping mechanism to reach out organizers and
Do you think it's
have a good
easier
demo
now?
with you.
It's
Yeah,
easier in for networking. I mean, you're not
of
meeting people
course.
physically, but is it easier just to reach out to people via the internet?
Yeah, it's very easy actually, because firstly, if you have a good demo with you or demo tape with you, in the sense like you have captured your work with the right lighting, right uh,
Mm.
sound and all that,
Yeah.
straight up, picture tells 1,000 words. In this case, the video. Please
Yeah.
PM the organizer your demo.
Yeah.
If you have good content,
Mm.
it will be a win-win kind of thing. They will definitely entertain you.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that. And if you're not focusing on the money part, you're willing to kind of
Mm.
perform voluntary, chances are more in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely for
unfortunately.
someone who's just starting
Mm,
out, it's I think
yeah,
maybe more uh, sort of practical just to think
we
about putting yourself
yeah, I
out
had
there.
the same journey. I had the
Yeah.
same journey.
Yeah.
So I used to send demos to people
Yeah.
and sometimes get
Yeah.
rejected. Sometimes they were uh, happy to host me and all that.
Yeah.
So that's how, I mean, it was like a statistical thing. I started doing things and
Did you
the
have a
numbers
mentor
of,
as well in Singapore when you came here? Like, were
yeah.
you Yeah, but that's
It
pretty
was,
commendable because you have actually
yeah,
built a big brand, like,
yeah.
and, taken a lot of good initiatives. So it's good because
Yeah,
people can actually
there's
now
a
reach
small
out to
story
you.
behind it. There's a small story behind it. So I was into this jazz community, which is more Angmo and local. But then in 2007,
Angmo
in
is
the Bengali
basically
association,
foreign Westerners.
yeah, yeah,
Westerners.
Westerners, yeah. Yeah. So in the Indian community, in the Bengali community,
Yeah.
we had put up a Bangla band or Bengali band,
Okay.
and people were very excited to see us perform because before that they were only performing over karaoke songs. So
Okay.
that, so everything has a new, I mean, these kind of things has kind of a virality in them, that first time happening, a band performing in front of them.
Yeah.
So
Word of
we
mouth, it
actually
gets
got,
spread. So
yeah, we got that advantage at that time in 2007. That's how it started. And then I was able to reach a lot of people
yeah.
through that demo and all that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Demo,
think.
see, mentor, I don't have a specific mentor.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, and this is really my advice to all the people,
Mm.
work with somebody who is better than you. Do not work with people who are at your level or less. Okay, always, I mean, always work with everybody, but then have people who are better than you, because
Yeah.
that's, he's going to be your mentor, she's going to be your mentor. Only if you see somebody perform at another level, you will be able to rise your standards. It
True.
has happened to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about getting upskilling yourself in a way.
Yeah, and
So.
I've known people who are older than me and playing guitar for, let's say, about, I mean, more than me, basically, 30 years, 40 years. They
Yeah.
still play basic chords, and
Uh,
they think they are amazing in that. But music is not about that. Music is an art form. We forget that it's an art. If you can't create music, if you can't, uh, basically, art is, or creativity is basically looking at the mundane thing and coming up with something new. So,
oh.
coming up with your own special
Mm.
perspective about it, and creating
Yeah.
something along the way. So if we forget this, music is not covering songs always. It is good to cover, but covering is not artistic act. Artistic act is when you write songs, or you are covering and putting your personality. Like, for example, I
Okay.
always say that if you ask Michael Jackson to sing Janagana Mana,
Mm.
he will have his Michael Jackson-y flavor in that, because he is Michael Jackson. So
Yeah.
everybody has a personality, and it should come out from your work. Don't
Okay.
take credit in making a perfect copy. I mean, for example, if you're reading a book, how will you copy a book? Look at the words and write it again and publish it again? Who's going to read your book?
Mm.
So that's the thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good. I mean, good thing to remember because
Like,
yeah.
I come from Kolkata. Okay, it's not cool to what you call copy others over there. It's not cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a state, or rather, city, which is like filled with artists. Like, whoever is born is after his birth is sent to dance school or music school. Okay, so it's not cool to copy people. So have your own. If you're copying, have your interpretation of, standing out in that
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we covered a lot of topics today. A lot of good things to learn, like very insightful conversation. Do you want to actually perform for us, like maybe with
Oh
your guitar
yes.
or sing a song?
Yeah. So what do you think? What kind of song should I sing? I have no idea, but I'll just sing a general one.
You want to sing
I'll,
your original song or?
okay.
Yeah.
I'll just sing a Hindi composition. Yeah.
Okay.
शायर की गजल हो या पायल की पुकार, जो भी हो मेरे यार, लुभाती हो बड़ा। तेरी सांसें, तेरी खुशबू, तेरी यादें खींच लाती है तेरे पास। शायर की गजल हो या पायल की पुकार, जो भी हो मेरे यार, लुभाती हो बड़ा जरिया जरिया ढूंढूं मैं तेरे पास आने को जो आऊं तेरे पास तो मेरा हाथ थाम लो हो 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 जरिया जरिया ढूंढूं मैं तेरे पास आने को जो आऊं तेरे पास तो मेरा हाथ थाम लो something like that. Sorry, my voice
That's
is
pretty
not
good.
okay.
That's
So
amazing. I never
thank
heard
you.
that before, but that was really nice. Did you also write the
Yeah.
song?
Yeah.
I mean, the lyrics of it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. So,
So we
what's the
performed
song
at
called?
Esplanade. It's called
There's no name for it, maybe.
Haath Tham Lo. So sorry, I forget. There are few songs, so
Yeah.
Mera Haath Tham Lo.
Mera Haath Tham Lo. It's super nice. Like,
So
yeah.
you'll see in the in my YouTube channel. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna need all those links from you because I would probably drop them in the description somewhere. And yeah, I mean, this was really great because I think I learned a lot of things myself, and hopefully, for whoever's listening to this, yeah, there's something to pick pick up pick up from this interview. It's not really an interview, but this conversation, and yeah, so it's great. Hopefully, I mean, we see artist to artist and all the other side projects that you're working on, grow further, scale up, and go from strength to strength. And yeah,
Yep.
I'm also looking forward to jamming with you again next week
Yep.
at the latest, and then we'll see how that goes. So
Sure.
thanks for
And thank you very much for the opportunity. I really love talking to you, and I hope this reaches out to many people and somebody's benefited through this. Yeah.